Is there any one person that still remains standing who can face William Ruto and tell him that the path that they are headed will lead them to nowhere? I'm asking this because it appears to me that the leaders who could face William Ruto have been pushed away. Rigathi Gachagua, Gebu Muturi. Those are the people who have said that I used to face William Ruto and tell him this is wrong. Of course, they are telling us now when they have been kicked out. The former Secretary General Malala also told us the same. The one that shocked me was even the former CS Agriculture, who was telling us that he was in charge of fake fertilizers, but he could not say it because he was enjoying his salary. That is what I'm concluding out of that. Rigathi says that he could tell William Ruto that, sir, this is not what we promised Kenyans. As a result of that, they fell out. Now, I'm asking this because if there is a team that will destroy William Ruto, it is the praise and worship team. They aggravate matters. They even make things worse. In the wake of a documentary, Blood Parliament, that was released by the British Broadcasting Corporation, that exposed the killer squad and even alleged involvement of the Kenya army officers. Something that is in black and white. The president worship team are telling William Ruto that there is nothing wrong with that. It is BBC that is exaggerating matters when we know that our boys and girls were killed. Today, they were in Parliament, and instead of discussing matters that can help the nation, instead of looking for a solution, they were busy bashing and attacking the BBC. One member of Parliament is telling us that this thing is gone. We had swept it under the carpet. It is water under the bridge. And he's saying that the reason why we should not even bother is because people are being killed everywhere and people forget about it. You can imagine a whole member of Parliament who is being paid by taxpayers' money addressing Kenyans in Parliament and telling us that we should forget this. BBC is wrong for exposing this because people are being killed. And his main reason why this is wrong is because people are killed everywhere in the world and people forget about it. So we should forget about our children who are killed, our brothers and sisters, because we have moved on. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you this. Then, KJ, in light of what is happening, something that is so obvious, is telling William Ruto that the only reason why the BBC aired this story is because they want to perpetuate an agenda of the British as a superpower. And I want to show this. Now, what really captured my attention, for the first time, sometimes leaders get sober a little bit. And Millie Odhiambo, the member of, is it Suba North or West, stood on the floor of Parliament and told the parliamentarians that we really need to make a break, look at this matter very soberly, and ensure that even as we move on with the solution. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to watch this. Before that, allow me to request you to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. It allows YouTube to inform you whenever we have a video like this. Don't forget to like and share our videos. Kindly listen to the members of the praise and worship team.
And it captures or talks about the event that happened in June the 25th. A very sad day indeed. Tragic and shameful. Tragic in the sense that we lost lives of our fellow Kenyans. Shameful in the sense that democracy of the parliament was about to be infringed. And nevertheless, it has come at this time, a time that we have really moved on. We spoke about that issue in this house, discussed it. It happens world over. People are killed, our people are killed, we sympathize, we moved on. Even world over. Remember, there was the same issue or similar in Capitol Hill. BBC World Service never took the opportunity to say something. It happened in London. They never said it. It happened in many.
And we understand, Mr. Speaker, even in media, that the BBC is funded by taxpayers' money in Britain, meaning that BBC is funded to push the foreign agenda of the British people internationally, Mr. Speaker. And so we must know, is BBC speaking as a mouthpiece of the government and the people of Britain? Or what is it that the BBC is doing? Could it be an attempt to untwist this country so that they can rescind on the rider that we put on their training of the Batuk units in Kenya, Mr. Speaker, and perpetuate a history of extractive economy, oppressive economy, and exploitative economy in a very unfair trade balance between Kenya and the UK?
So according to that member of parliament, if you lost your child, if your child was killed in parliament, forget him or her, because he's not the only child that has been killed. People are being killed all over the world and people move on. So just move on. Why? Because your child is not better than any other. You can imagine that is someone being paid by taxpayers' money. You can imagine that is a person advising the president. You can imagine that is a member of the broad-based government. You can imagine KJ telling us that we don't need to look at the killer cop. While we know that our children were killed, that it is the British government that wants to spread an agenda. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. If there is a president that has been known to endear himself to the international community, which president is that? It is William Samoei Ruto himself. Why are our policemen in Haiti, who has been spreading this agenda of the climate change? We all know that courtesy of William Ruto's allegiance to the international community, we are consuming GMO. So if Kenya is telling us that the British government wants to spread an agenda in the country, we welcome King Charles in the country. Jill Biden has come to the country. William Ruto went for a state visit in the US, and LGBTQ, GMO are things that we allowed in the country. We have decided to endear ourselves and become slaves of the Bretton Woods institutions, the World Bank and the IMF. So KJ should not tell us that some international community wants to drive an agenda. This is something that has been there. If anything, let me remind him that the people who aided Ruto's victory were the international community. I'm telling you, if these are the people who advise William Ruto, then we don't have a country. Because sometimes a president can change. If all the people around him gang up and tell him, Mr. President, we are not headed to the right direction. But if all of them are telling him everything is okay, forget the BBC, this is very wrong. But I'm very happy that Millie Odhiambo took that moment and spoke like a mother, spoke like a leader, and at least there was a moment of reasoning.
Yes, Millie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank Honorable KJ for urging that we speak soberly about this issue. And Mr. Speaker, I wish to speak soberly about this issue. And sometimes when you're in leadership, you have to take the road less traveled. And on this issue, I want to take the path less traveled. Mr. Speaker, we lost many young people. And we have very many young people who are traumatized as a consequence of what happened. Mr. Speaker, it is a point in our country that all of us wish never happened, but it happened. Mr. Speaker, I think we have not handled this issue well. And that is why sometimes you find people from outside are coming to document this. If, as Kenya, we were able to acknowledge that things went wrong and we need to fix it, then, Mr. Speaker, even if BBC aired it, it doesn't matter. We have to fix our own problems on our own. We don't have to wait for BBC to tell us there was something wrong. I have a problem with the title that they've given, but which is typical of any media house because they want it to trend and then want it to, yeah. And because of that, Mr. Speaker, they may have given it that title. But, Mr. Speaker, we have not yet dealt with some of the issues. We have dealt with some, but one of the issues we have not dealt with is the trauma. Mr. Speaker, I said it when Honorable Elachi lost the son. Mr. Speaker, we have a very angry young generation in this country. And part of the anger is on the issues that we are seeing, Mr. Speaker. And we cannot bury our heads in the sand, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let Parliament take the lead. And let us find a way of helping these young people to heal. Because, Mr. Speaker, we don't know what may come in the next few months, next year, or whatever. And furthered by the fact that we have very many young people who are jobless, who are frustrated. And if these people, I don't know what their intention is. Their intention could be fuel more harm and whatever. I don't know what their intention is. But from the young people that have spoken, it has actually created more anger. We are taking them back to the path that they would rather not walk again. But they are walking it. And we don't know at what point somebody else will fuel it again. You can't stop the media. Somebody else will fuel that anger again. And so for us to deal with it, let this Parliament take that mandate to deal. When we had post-election violence, Mr. Speaker, I was lucky to be in this Parliament, I think, where we do in that Parliament. Mr. Speaker, we set up a select committee. We walked all over this country. And because as human beings, we have a nature to forget. When we thought we had moved on, I remember in one case, we met a woman whose husband's head had been decapitated. She went to her home with the husband's head. And we were dealing with people who are angry, people who are depressed. And going there, Mr. Speaker, I remember to date when I was speaking in Parliament, I broke down and cried. Not because of me, but because of what we had. And we think we are moving on, but there are many young people who have not necessarily moved on. Mr. Speaker, personally, I would appeal, and I don't want to sit in that committee, but I would appeal that we set up a select committee to deal with this issue that stemmed not necessarily the finance bill, but the after effect of that finance bill. Mr. Speaker, I humbly agree that we deal with this soberly, and I'd want to discourage us from going through a process which we think may be politically correct, but does not necessarily move us forward as a country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, we all agree that she spoke like a mother, but there are things that Millie Odhiambo must be reminded of. I know she's really empathizing and sympathizing with the parents who lost their children, but what a height of betrayal can we ever witness as a country when, if they understood that our children died, then they still decided, in the middle of the cries of Gen Zs, they joined the broad-based government. They appointed ministers to work with William Ruto, but they forgot to talk about the Gen Zs. Just the other day, Raila told us that one of the things that they signed, and I don't know, this is the second signing, because when he got into government with William Ruto, there should have been something that they talked about. We were not told. So this time around, when they realized that pressure was, piling, he told us that one of the things they signed with William Ruto is that those who are killed should be compensated. But it was just on paper. We've never had anyone talking about it. So our very good member of Parliament, Millie Odhiambo, must also understand that it is not just enough to empathize or sympathize. We should do the right thing. They joined this government and they are still in it. So empathizing is not helping us at all. We just need to do the right thing. I also want to say that It is not just a matter of trauma, that they want to deal with the trauma, the aftermath of the Gen Z's protest and kidnappings and killings. I think what is coming ahead of us is another Finance Bill 2025. As a member of Parliament, instead of forming a committee to start talking to, Gen Zs who have been traumatized, what Millie Odhiambo should be telling her colleagues is that we need to do the right thing. Let them not pass something that is in the best interest of the executive government and ignoring the wananchi. In the Finance Bill 2024, we gave our views, but we were ignored. What they tell us is public participation is a mere formality. So instead of forming these committees, all we want our parliamentarians to do is do the right thing. We know that they have been there. We have given them in the Constitution 3 roles. Representation. They need to represent our interests, not their interests, not their stomachs. There is legislation. When they are making laws, let them make laws that are in tandem to our thoughts, what we really want, what can govern us, because they are our representatives. And then oversight. This is where they are lost. Instead of playing their oversight role, they have been bought and compromised, and then they are now dancing to the tune and the rhythm of the executive. So let them go back and understand their roles. Let them check the executive. Creating committees is not going to help us. These are sideshows. Let them debate this finance bill. Let them understand that more taxes are only injurious to the Kenyan economy. Let them stop corruption. Because how is it going to help us if you create committees that is talking to people who saw their children being killed, and then you go ahead and pass another very controversial finance bill that is taxing everywhere? How is it helping us? If you know very well that the Auditor General is at the control of budget, is giving a report that is exposing the executive as wasteful. They know very well, ODM understands, that William Ruto had been cornered, and he called for a press conference and said he was going to stop all the monies that are going to the office of the first lady, the second lady, all this money that were needed to facelift the State House and the office of the Deputy President. He was to stop them. Gen Z said that all these campaigns, local and international unnecessary travel, were to stop, and William Ruto said as much. But immediately they got into a handshake. He got the strength and is now doing the very, very thing that he had told us he would not repeat. So Millie Odhiambo is speaking well, but let actions also follow her words. We don't need sympathy as a nation. That is it. We just need people doing the right thing. We need the parliamentarians to take their role seriously. Until just recently, we still have the government abducting youths. Look at what happened yesterday in Narok, in Angata. 5 people killed. Why? Because of an alleged land that William Ruto wants to buy through proxy or something that was being said. Whatever the reason, why do you kill innocent people? I talked about managing the anger, managing the psychology of your people. Land is very emotive. You don't go with the police and expect that people will be lying down. Today I've seen some pictures and videos. That place is very volatile. Every government vehicle that is seen around is being touched. And Millie is talking of sympathy, creating some committees. It won't help. As long as the head of state will not change, as long as the head of state does not want to be criticized, it will not change. The one person who must change is William Samoei Ruto. The people who must change are people who are around him. And this is why I'm telling you that William Ruto is surrounded by bad people. He himself is not different. And then we know how to make statements just to pacify the situation. I mean, this is unacceptable. Whether they complain up to tomorrow, the damage has been done. The whole world now understands what is happening. KJ might tell us of the agenda and all those things, but the truth is known. And we have parents who lost their children. The government rode on a campaign platform that was very promising, creating jobs for the youths. Right now, investors are running away. All we are doing is just we are advertising ourselves and blowing the trumpet as if Kenyans don't see what is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you that as a nation we need to rise up. And this time round, we need to have our destiny in our hands. Let us register as voters. It is a song I will sing. Let us register as voters. Let us shun corruption and tribalism and understand our leaders. Let us elect the right leaders who will listen to us. That is the only way. Otherwise, we are still going to live with this scar forever. A government that butchers us. A government that spoils the economy. Corruption is the end of the day and wastage. And I will tell you that we are co-authors of our own misfortune because every 5 years we are presented with an opportunity to elect leaders. Let me tell you, even if William Ruto or at the national level, at the presidential level, they can manage to rig elections and maybe they re-elect William Ruto. But we decide that at the constituency level and at the ward level, we have people who listen to us so that William Ruto is there as a lone ranger. All the parliamentarians will always oversight him so that if there is corruption, he's put to task. If there is a problem, a vote of no confidence. I can assure you that even if he decides to steal, he will have it very rough because of the parliamentarians that listen to their people. If we wake up in the morning and vote to the man, I can assure you that no one will even attempt to steal votes in 2027 because we are sitting on a time bomb and we don't know. People are killed, but we still say that is water under the bridge. People are killed, we are told, forget because people are killed everywhere. Really? The ball is on our court. If we want to complain forever, we will. If we want to make a change, we have, because we are the voters.